All right, guys, it's a beautiful fall night here in Canada, and I'm out here with the pooch because we're trying to enjoy the last short sleeve weather of the year, likely. We're out of the tiny house, and I'm going to show you guys something today that's really going to save you some coin, because at the end of the day, we all like to have a little jingle in our jangle, if you know what I mean. So, heading on up here, I'm going to show you how I buy material when it's necessary. I don't buy a lot, but when I do, to save money. So, interior finishes, you have a few options, but if you're like me, you like to have a real rustic look. Well, rustic and money tend to go hand in hand, especially if you go to the lumberyard. Now, what I'm going to do is show you one of the products that I like to use that is a bit cheaper and maybe gives you somewhat of the same effect of that rustic, high-priced lumber. So what it is this stuff. And this stuff, you can see this is purchased. It's got a tag on it. This stuff is called strapping. So if you go to Home Depot and you're looking for lumber, you can buy everything from structural 2x4s, 2x6s, all the way up to, pre-sanded pieces of plywood. You can also buy finished, meaning planed lumber that would be typically used for inside a structure like this, this tiny house. But if you're like me and you're trying to save money, head on down to where they sell strapping at Home Depot. Strapping tends to come in two different sizes, 1x3 and 1x4. This is 1x4 strapping, and as you can see here, nothing really wrong with it. It's a little discolored from sitting outside, but if I pick up another piece, there's nothing really wrong with it. You're going to find some inconsistencies, so you're going to find some knots that have fallen out of it, and you might find a little bit of twisting. And yeah, right there, Coda. Yeah, he says he's all right. So you might find some knots that have come out. You might find a teeny bit of twisting. But at the end of the day, the cost savings for strapping compared with pre-sanded or pre-planed lumber is substantial. You may be that guy or girl at the pile, though, who's sorting through things. And at the end of the day, who cares? It's money back in your pocket, not theirs. So check that out. That's strapping. And this is commonly used for putting up in behind siding on buildings. It basically creates an air gap between siding and the framing on the wall. So ask for strapping, and that might be a cost savings. And if the person at the lumberyard tells you that that strapping won't look any good and it won't look like rustic lumber, you just have a look right up there and you show them this picture, because that right there is some leftover strapping 1x4 that I had. I left it out in the sun and got rained on, sunned on, all kinds of stuff for a month. And then I put it up, and to tell you the truth, I would bet the majority of people would never know that that is not some sort of rough-sawn, fancy, high-end wood that I got from a sawmill. So take that to the lumberyard and you guys show them. Some other cost savings comes from what you actually purchase. And sometimes you don't know what to ask for. If you go to a lumberyard, you can be a bit intimidated. And at the end of the day, they may be just trying to push the most expensive product to you. Or if they're like some of my lumberyards, which I absolutely hate, they tell me what I want, when in actuality, they don't listen to what I want. So, buying material for the inside of a building. It may seem strange, but you can actually buy siding, wood siding, that's been planed or smoothed on 3 out of the 4 sides as a way of saving money. Because let's face it, what's that 4th side that's rough going to be used for? Well, it's going to be nailed against the wall. You'll never see it. So if you're looking for some sort of interior finish, maybe look for good on 3 side wood. So what that means is it's been planed smooth on 3 out of the 4 sides. So the big side, so the biggest flat side, and the 2 edges. The other flat side remains rough. That one little thing might save you a boatload of money, especially if you're trying to finish a interior of a fairly large building. And one of the other ideas I have that might save you a boatload of money when it comes time to finishing the interior of a tiny house is not using wood at all. Well, maybe not using it in as great of quantity. What that is, it's buying drywall sheets in 4x8 size, positioning it lengthwise, so 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide, butting up 1x1x1 all the way around the perimeter of your building. What you end up with then is a whole bunch of 4-foot staggered seams between your plywood sheets, drywall sheets. Those drywall sheets and the gaps that are created when you butt 2 pieces together can then be covered with wood. In actuality, you can use these guys right here. 1x4 strapping, or even 1x3 strapping. So ultimately, when you look around the room before you get these guys on there, what you'll see is a whole bunch of sheets of drywall lined up perfectly, 8 feet tall, 4 feet across. Covering that gap with wood, and then placing wood also every 2 feet gives you that illusion that you've got board and batten interior finish. When I tell you how much cheaper drywall is, really listen, because if you go to Home Depot to price out lumber versus drywall, you're going to see the difference. So using drywall, maybe that'll be an option for you. Just make sure when you're all done, paint everything the same color, the drywall and the wood strapping pieces, so that it gives you that illusion that it's actually wood. And if you really want to make it sort of deceiving to the eye, add a bit of texture to your paint. That way that smooth finish in that drywall quickly disappears and you end up with a very uniform finish that really does look like rustic wood. So guys, no matter what option you choose for the interior finish of your tiny house, make sure it's what you want. When you go to the lumberyard, you tell them what look you're going for and ask for the options. It's very easy just to buy the best and the most expensive material. But at the end of the day, who's going to know when you pull up with a piece of strapping, and the only real difference between this and a more expensive piece is probably some of the imperfections, and they're kind of minimal at most. So if you're like me and you want to save a few bucks, make sure you pay special attention to those tips. Hopefully they help you guys, and at the end of the day, we'll all put that jingle back in our pocket. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.